Well, hello, my dear, dear, darling friend. This is so fun because I know what we're going to talk about today. And I think it's something a little bit unexpected for you, especially because you have been around on the interwebs for quite some time. You are like one of the OG bloggers. And I love that your first blog, Hair Romance, was created around identity, really, because our hair is such a big part of our identity as women. And for a lot of us, it's like our most important accessory. I know it is for me. And, you know, the whole philosophy around hair romance was learning to love your hair and accept it and work with it. And yet, we're not going to talk about hair at all today, which is so weird. Because,
Somehow the conversation always comes around to hair.
yeah,
But yeah,
normally
it has
there's always
been
some element. Yeah. So we probably will, never say never. We probably will land back on hair today. But we are going to talk about your identity, but not the one that we've seen on the screens, not on Instagram, not on your blog, not on Mr. and Mrs. Romance, not on YouTube. And that is your own personal identity that's been experiencing quite the fucking shift this past year. I don't even know how long it's been. Like, what is time, first of all? And
exactly.
secondly, like
It's
this
yeah.
week has been the longest year ever. But like, yeah, can you share a little bit about what you've been moving through in your own life?
Yeah, pinpointing the back to how when this started. Uh, but basically I've taken on a role of being more of a carer of my mother as she's had dementia. And it has really made me step away from having an online identity because it's taken so much energy, focus, a change of direction, I think, of so much of my life and a lot of creative energy. And so the things I used to spend time creating online, I have found myself spent and putting all of that focus into my family. So I'm the youngest of three kids, and I'm very lucky that my sister and I still have a really good relationship. And she's very supportive. She's been doing a lot to help my mum as well. But any carer will tell you it's more than a single person's job. Like we're even for no matter how many people you have caring, it's a very taxing role. And mum this year has been a huge one, and it's happened fast. Mum has had dementia for I'm trying to think 2018 was probably first diagnosed 20 yeah, and in now 2025 7 years later has just it was luckily her decision to move into a care home, but as smooth as that was, which surprised me, there's been every hurdle since then. And so what I thought would be the biggest jump was actually deciding when it wasn't safe for her to live on her own anymore, though we spent a lot of time supporting her. I seriously felt like it was a full-time job. I was managing a team. I had five carers coming in, a gardener. I felt like I was fielding multiple text messages every day because you have more people than you need so that anyone goes on holidays, you're covering it all. And so I've gone from kind of managing a company of people to now having one point of contact, but then still having as many things to deal with. And this whole point of I am very lucky in my life that I have chosen to be child free, but I've almost taken on a parenting role from looking after my mum as she is now 87 and on maybe medium stages of dementia. I'm still trying to work out what the scale is, but as it gets harder and harder. And yeah, it's been a identity challenge for me to shift to someone who I always consider myself very impatient. And I think I have learnt a lot about patience this last year, especially. Oh, probably over the last 5 years, but definitely this year.
Yeah, I feel like this year, especially us being such close friends, and we talk so frequently and share about what's going on in our lives in our chat back and forth. And I feel like this year, especially, there has been so much rapid change with your mum, and you have experienced so many of the different shades and textures of dementia. And to watch her go into the aged care facility, and like at first she was really happy and excited about it, and then there's been this roller coaster ever since. And I'm really curious because I too also, as you know, we've decided to be child free in this lifetime as well. And I have a very different relationship with my parents in that we were estranged and we are back in each other's lives, but it is kind of like at arm's distance because it's not quite fully there. And like, there's a lot to that story, but that's not my, this is not my episode. Um,
Parenting relationships are so
Oh,
complicated. Like, I often wonder how when because I spend a lot of time now with people in their 70s and 80s, mainly because I spend a lot of time with my mum. She's very lucky to have a lot of friends through her social life with golf. My parents had a really good social circle. I'm around a lot of people. Even my mum is still making friends. My favorite story about this actually is my sister and mum was hosting Christmas. This is, my gosh, 10 years ago. And my sister and I were driving we didn't have enough cream Christmas Eve. So running up to the shops, classic. And we see an old lady at the bus stop, but it's hot. My sister's the sweetest. And she's like, we can't leave her there. She turns around, we go back and pick her up. And she's so cute. And she says, oh, I normally wouldn't, but it's two girls. So, okay. We insist that we give her a lift to the shops where she's heading to. And she hops in and she says, my name's Norma Putter, like Harry's mother. I'm 92 and she's only just stopped driving and she was adorable. And it turns out for at least 30 plus years, she's lived around the corner from my mum and we've just never known her. And if we hadn't been driving that one day and the bus wasn't late, we would never have met her. And we drop her up the shops, we wish her well. As we're leaving, she's waiting. She promised that she was going to get a taxi back, but taxi hadn't arrived. So we said, well, look, let us drive you. She, in a couple of days later, had put a note through mum's letterbox saying, thank you for your lovely daughters and come and visit me. Then mum was doing a lot better back then. She was still driving. And so while mum was losing her mind, she became, Norma's memory is spot on. And she's turning 102 this November. She's still amazing. She still lives at home alone, and her and mum have become the best of friends. So I think at any age, you can be making a friend that you didn't know was around the corner. And they love each other. Mum just had her birthday party, turning 87, and her and Norma sat next to each other. Like, amazing. And we had a whole table of friends. But so from 102. So my other one is you can make friends at any age. You just need to put yourself out there. And that also around people all this age who has a good relationship with their family. There's some of our family friends that they have quite a strained relationship with their kids, and we all thought we grew up the same, but even within the same family, you know that no sibling has the same experience. And I actually find it I was always very lucky. I think I'm very close to my parents, but I was always very close with my dad. I lost him, it's going to be 16 years ago. And so now with mum, she and I definitely fought when I was a teenager, but I feel really grateful that I get to have this time with her. And even though she's losing memories of the past, she hasn't forgotten us now. And she's incredibly loving. I found her one of the strangest identity shifts with her dementia is I found her more kind and more effusive with compliments. A compliment was very hard won from my mum, but it was well earned. And now she is just so happy and observant about all the beauty in life. Like, she can't stop spotting beauty everywhere, and like flowers and birds, and just happy to see the sky. It's kind of adorable. So every time I'm with her, I feel incredibly set in the present because that's all we have.
yeah, wow. Oh my gosh, there's just so much gold in that, first of all. It's just like we can
I
make
think that
friends.
I went like in about 10 other stories. Talk
Yeah,
about
but I
going on
followed
a
you
tangent.
everywhere. I followed you everywhere. It's so fine. And that's a conversation with me. We go on 10 different paths and then we come back to what we were originally talking about. I love all of that, that we can make friends at any age, that it doesn't matter what kind of relationship you have with your family. It could change. It could change for the better at any point, right? Or it might not change at all. And it's okay because we surround ourselves with the people we choose. So I know for me, ultimately, my friends have become my dear, 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 dear family. Like, they are my inner circle. There are certain people in particular that know absolutely everything about me and my life and everything I'm going through. And like, I'm so, so grateful for all of that. And just really interesting to hear the identity shifts you've noticed in your mum through the dementia. I love though that she is now just like so present, and that she's just like noticing the awe and the beauty and the wonder of the little things, which, kind of like for you, that is probably a gift when you're in her presence. And she's like, Christina, look at that beautiful flower. And you're like, yes, that is
No, I
gorgeous.
swear, I was literally in the car with her today. She's like, oh, look at that color, look at the color. Like she sounds like that when you drive with her. It's so adorable. And when we're on the like today I didn't play golf. I'm her caddy. So she has played golf for 50 years and it's her favorite sport. I think she actually loves it more than the family, to be honest. But we always said you can only have one golfer in the family or else it would collapse because she spends so much time at that course. And so I drive her 30 minutes across to play at her old course, and she's literally spotting every little detail around there. But I often wonder how her vision has changed because I'm sure she spots these things that I don't even see at first. And you have to slow down to that pace. And I'm learning all these things that, like, it's not about being right anymore. So much of mum, I think, as well, my whole family was about being right or wrong. And with a conversation with someone who has dementia, there's no right or wrong. It's about, is this a good conversation or a bad one? Is she happy or sad? Do I need to pivot? It's not about saying, oh no, that's not right. Like I never have, it's never the point now to say, that's not right, mum, if she's misremembering something or misunderstanding something. It's about, is she happy or do I need to distract her? And I swear, I feel like I should talk to myself like that.
You know, I was literally going to say to you, and in those moments where you've had to adapt, not just like your attention, but the way you converse with your mum, what have you taken from that for yourself?
I think I've only just made this connection that she was such a perfectionist. She's a very Virgo woman, and everything had to be just so. Now, there is definitely still a little bit of that with her dementia. She does like details still, but it's less about right and wrong. It's so much more, and our conversations never revolve around that anymore because they can't. They have to just be about now and what's making her happy or what she's busying herself with. And I think that that is something I'm still stuck in a bit of a perfectionist spiral, especially when there's tasks I don't want to do. And I will use anything to put them off. So I think instead focusing on what is and using that energy around it to distract yourself or keep yourself busy with the task is probably what I should be doing at home.
Yeah, and interesting just then you alluded to something that I know that you have confessed to me, that you really started to notice at a certain point that you were almost, I hesitate to use the word using, but you were utilizing or using your mum's condition and everything she was going through as either an armor or a shield or an excuse for you to not be pursuing things you wanted to be pursuing or for putting your own creative projects and whatever you had on your agenda on the back burner. And obviously a lot of that had to take place because of, you know, your mum moving further into her dementia and then having to make that huge change of selling your family home and moving her into care. How much of it do you think you did use as an excuse? And how are you flipping that narrative now?
It's so interesting because I don't want this to sound like for other people who are carers that, oh, you're putting things on the back burner. But Sonia and I have discussed that I actually got a lot of satisfaction out of caring for mum. I really enjoy, like today, people came up to me and were like, oh, you're such a devoted daughter. I get such a high from that compliment. And I am really grateful to be able to do this for mum. But there was all of that praise and attention, and especially when it's in the the more visible tasks, the things that I was doing for mum, that gave me a real sense of achievement. And so it meant that I stopped achieving, like pursuing my own personal achievements with my work. And I can tell that a lot of my work has no, I was going to say dried up, but also been abandoned for this. And that's sometimes because of life, but also I know that I have, instead of seeking the same sense of achievement I had from my work, I got that at home. And there was a real identity shift from me really taking on a caring role when I've been very much a singular person, more sort of focused on other achievements, to switch that and make myself someone who is more focused around home tasks. I found that really interesting. And it's something that if, as our mum has now, yeah, we haven't really kind of cleared up because so much has happened this year. But there was within 1 month or within 6 weeks, my mum went from having a full-time care team at home, which really wasn't coping, to then deciding she wanted to move into aged care, finding a place, We agreed and saw the place on a Monday. She moved on the Friday. We had the house that she'd lived in for 55 years on the market for, or had it photographed over the weekend on the market that next week, sold within a week, and then settled within 4 weeks. It was so fast. It was like a whirlwind, and she was so happy with it. And she hasn't wanted to look back, which has helped us progress. But that's my only family home. It's been very much like I had to grow up a lot and really say goodbye to so much before I think I was ready. And that's what made me realize that I was letting a lot of my attention and my sense of achievement come from my role with mum instead of having it be a little bit more spread through my life. There's a whole wheel of like your focus in life, and I felt like I had 80% of it going towards mum, which it needed to be, but also I was taking on tasks that I didn't need to be doing. And my sister kind of pulled me up on that as well, knowing that she goes, "You don't need to do this much. We're here together. Now mum's in care. There's other things we can do." So she gave me the notice that I had the time back, but I didn't really know how to use it again because I'd been spending it so much in one place. So I think for me, it's sort of going, wow, what do I want to do now? How can I shift that identity back? What's the other identities that I'm going to have in those spaces? Especially now that a lot of my focus has changed with seeing the world through mum's eyes and understanding what I think my values have shifted. I find, and that's been a really interesting place to be, consciously observing my values shift.
Yeah, absolutely. And my gosh, I can relate to this so much on I say this all the time to friends who, because so many of my closest girlfriends are moving through very similar things to me. And I like to say different circumstances, same feelings, because that's what it tends to be is like,
Mm.
you've been moving through this with your mum and her dementia. I've been moving through this with, redundancy and trying to make sense of like, what does my career look like now? I'm 41, da 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 da. And it's really funny as well, like when I was struggling the most with trying to find work and trying to figure out what's next and what's my career going to look like and where is my next paycheck coming from, I found the most sanctuary at home. And but in like the little tasks. So like your task with your mum, obviously very meaningful, very important. Mine to a different degree was like I found a sense of almost control and almost like I'm still useful and I'm still worthy in like making sure that the kitchen was clean because I know Chris loves a clean kitchen because he does all the cooking in our house. So, making sure the kitchen was clean, washing, hanging up washing. I used to fucking hate doing that. And then all of a sudden, I'm finding immense joy in like hanging up washing because there was I don't know. I got to be really present. It got me out of my head. I stopped overthinking about how shit I thought I was and how much I was failing. And instead, like, instead of contributing to our family in a financial way, I was I was making sure I was contributing in other small but still really meaningful ways as well. And but it's just so funny, isn't it, where we find meaning and where we find a sense of purpose and control and all of those things. But what you really touched upon, and I was almost going to like say the word, but you said it, and I was like, thank God she said it, because that's where we need to go, is like when something significant happens in our life, like with you and your mum, me and redundancy and this entire crumbling of my career. And maybe for someone else, it might be like a marriage or a significant relationship coming to an end, or a decades long friendship coming to an end, or a health diagnosis, or whatever it is. There comes with it almost like a crumbling of your identity. And I know for me, I have spent much of this year untangling my identity and my sense of self-worth from my career. And, when you go through something significant like that, and you with your mum bringing it back to you, your values can't help but shift because your priorities have completely changed. You have gone through something so monumentally foundation shaking and shifting in your life that you can never be the same again. You can't be that person you were before this happened because this thing has happened and now you're this person. And so when your values do shift like that and your identity does evolve and change and you go through this transition, like I would love to know, where are you at right now with you, Christina, the woman. Like, you are so creative. You're one of the most visionary, artistic, creative people I know. Like, you're an amazing photographer, you're an amazing content creator. Like, you're incredible with just everything you touch is just like beautiful and creative and amazing. And I just would love to know now, like, where do you land? Where are you at with all of that now, and how you want to, I suppose, express yourself in any kind of way right now? Like, what does it look like now?
It's funny. Thank you for being so complimentary. My first instinct is like, oh no, I'm not. But now I think about my mum and everyone, all the ladies I'm with them 7 years. Hell yeah, you are. You just have like I don't feel that as my first voice in my head, but I also know that we're exactly what we want to do. The one thing I would say is that I don't do those things as much as I used to. So am I still those things? But I know that once you and I get start talking or anything happens, ideas come up. And I still have those ideas and I still have that drive. But I found myself, I think, a little bit tired and allowing myself the permission to shift back. Now that mum is in full-time care, there's still a lot of things to do, but I'm not worrying about her at night. I'm not worrying that she's unsafe. And that was taking up a lot of stress. Now I'm like, oh, like she did call me at 2 in the morning, but I know that I just said dressed and ready for the doctor. And I was like, that's okay. I said, just go back out and have a chat because I know that there's a lovely team of nurses and staff that are working overnight that will put her back into bed and I can safely go back to sleep. That is a dream. That's such a relief and such a gift. And so now that I have that energy back, what do I do with it? And so I'm slowly like letting myself have a few personal projects. I find that I'm nervous after stepping so long away from having my online presence. How do I come back to it? Like I've left everything kind of standing and ignored, but I can't get rid of it. I think, oh, do I close it down? No, I can't. It's still part of me. We've had this chat. And those projects can be left and you can still come back to them. And how you come back, you know what? It doesn't even matter. You just need to come back and you just need to start. It doesn't even really matter what you do first because no one cares. It's never the first thing that people notice. You just need to get going. And I think more I need to train myself back into being back. And I think that's something I'm still getting used to. I'm finding myself tired a lot lately. I think is it age? Is it iron levels? Is it any number of 100 reasons? We're all a little bit tired. But when I'm not tired, how do I actually start using that energy for myself and for these things? And after and I mean today I've straight up everything I've done today has been for mum. It's been a fun day for her and I'm come back and now I get to have a chat with you, which is honestly a highlight and gives me more energy back. And I think, oh great, I'm going to have a bit more of a photography session. I'm doing some product photography at the moment and trying to have a bit of fun with that. And then the other thing that has been such a exercise gift for me is exercise and martial arts, and I'll do that tonight. And I can't tell you that finding a new hobby is something that we should all have, that something that you can't monetize, that all of us who are creative and have little side gigs and stuff, we so make every hobby into our next venture. Having a hobby that isn't monetized is truly a gift.
My gosh, yes. I had this conversation recently with a girlfriend of mine because she was like, Sonia, I just don't know what I do for fun anymore.
Yeah.
She was just like, I just don't know. She goes, I feel like I've just lost everything that I do for fun. She's like, what do you do for fun? I'm like, that's a good bloody question. And like, yes, I do have things I do for fun. Like I read for pleasure and, I enjoy going for walks and I love being out in nature and, I love going on little adventures with Chris and eating out and all those kinds of things. But I don't have a hobby like how you have martial arts. And I always get this wrong. Is it jujitsu? No,
Yeah, it is. It's but
it is.
there's Japanese jiu-jitsu and Brazilian. I do more Japanese, but I do a bit of the other one as well.
Okay, excuse me. Excuse me.
As I mean,
Also,
it's
hang
complicated. But do you know, I would weirdly put a
on.
little
Also, I'm talking to a black belt here, okay? So I'm not going to mess that up, right? That's one of
that has
your
been
achievements from this year was
it's
you got
been
your black belt, dude.
honestly, that has helped me decompress from so much stress over the last 3 years and 3 and a bit years of starting from scratch and to getting to a black belt in this system. And honestly, but I almost want to say that sometimes, especially if you're someone like me who doesn't really enjoy something when you're not very good at it, Like I often found myself struggling with starting new things because I'm not very good at it. So I really train myself a lot now to enjoy being a beginner at something because I don't take the pressure off having to be good at it. And I think the idea is a hobby doesn't always have to be something fun because there's different levels of fun. Like if I think about going to jiu-jitsu, I don't think of it as fun, like because I go there and I sweat and it's exhausting. And to me, in my head, that's still not a definition of fun. But I come away from it feeling energized. And then that is my definition, is that like I feel better after I do it. So it's, and for me, I always think it's like an active meditation. It's such an intense experience that, and we spend so much time counting and focused that like I used to, if I went on even a beautiful walk or I was on a treadmill, my brain's still active. I have no other thoughts in that. Like there's no time for a thought to come up in that hour. I just have a brain rest, and it is truly amazing. So the idea of fun, maybe when you're trying to find a hobby, it may want to work your definition into it. It doesn't need to be like so exciting that everyone wants to hear about it, but just something that you can do that doesn't do anything except maybe like reset your body, reset your mind.
Yeah.
And yeah, like it could literally be doing like a jigsaw puzzle because you're so focused on the pieces. Like, if you know what I mean, it doesn't have to be going hardcore sweaty.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
more so the feeling that it gives you is like it's a hobby, and so we're going to define hobby by something that you're not going to monetize and something that all of social media and the whole freaking world doesn't need to know about. Like it's just for you. And what is it? What is the feeling that you're looking for, that you're wanting to experience when
Mm,
you do whatever the thing is? And I think that's what I need to explore because I don't have a
mm,
hobby that is just for me. Um, Whereas Chris has the gym and he goes to the gym without fail, no matter what is going on, minimum 5 days a week. That is his thing. That is how he feels most like himself. And I know for him, it means like no one can contact him, no one can call him while he's at the gym. He's not taking, work phone calls. He can't be on email. He can't be in a spreadsheet. He can't be on a Teams meeting. It's just him and his workout. And I know that he loves it. And then obviously, like with, I'm sure your dojo, is that how you say it?
yes.
Oh my God, so
Yes.
fun. Um, you get those points of connection as well
That's
because
exactly
he
it.
tends
Yeah.
to go at the same time every day and the same people go at the same time every day, and like you have those little points of connection where you say hi to each other, you get to know each other a little bit with every session, with every day. Yeah.
100%. Like, and I have never been a person that could go to the gym, and it would still to this day doesn't interest me. But going to this class and meeting up with people, and it's become a great social group too. But I got so much just, I don't know, that mind space. And I don't know, I wonder if like back to hair, I have to bring it up. I always think swimming is like that, but I don't want to wash my hair or get my hair wet every
Oh
time.
my God, that's my definition of hell, having to wash my hair every day.
Like I don't want to make my life more difficult. I wash my hair so much more now that I train, but like I would think like, at the moment I probably go three to 4 days a week, 3 days a week for sure, which is a lot. But I'm doing like, yeah, 4 hours of training over 3 days. But I love it. And then, but I would never think, oh, I'm going to go to the gym 4 times this week. To me, that sounds like still crazy. So you can find like your weird hobby, even if it's like so adjacent to something that you hate. You might think that there's a part like
True.
there's got to be a way you can explore and find it that's, and it can still be as simple as reading, but maybe you set yourself like a different reading list because
Yeah.
there's stuff we read for work or for pleasure, but like you maybe set yourself like a different reading list or a different kind of space within that. So when you're reading a different kind of book, it takes you away and it isn't trying to grow your mind or stretch you. You know, you
Yeah.
can read something totally different, or you
Yeah.
know what I mean. There's so many different other hobbies.
Absolutely. I love that. Something adjacent to what you hate. Like, because that just reminds me of one of my favorite sayings is there's always another way. Like there's always another way. So there's always another option. There's always another way. And that's the case with, and I know like you know me, like me and exercise, we are not soulmates. And I have struggled my entire
Mm.
life to find exercise that I really, or movement that I really enjoy and I have been able to be consistent with. And that's why you blow me away with your jiu-jitsu because it just it just seems so left field with how glamorous and beautiful and stylish and perfect hair you are. And then you're like in the dojo getting down and dirty, like flipping people, breaking boards, and doing, I've always wanted to just do the Miss Piggy hee.
Totally. Honestly, it's that's how I picture myself there, and I just don't tell anyone. I turn up there barefaced, hair scraped off my face. Like nobody would recognize me. Like people have been like, "Is that you?" when they'd see me in the street because I don't look anything like I do when I turn up there in my white cotton pajamas, my gi. But it's so like that, and I think it's amazing that I've found something that I enjoy so much that has really shocked me. But yeah, I wonder there's something for everybody, and I think you just got to keep trying until you find the thing.
Yeah,
Don't put up with an exercise that you hate. Do some, there's another way to exercise, or maybe it's with a different person or a different environment or place. They're all the things that you can change. There's always a way. And
yeah,
I think that that's a
yeah.
great thought.
I love that. Okay, before we change topics off of jujitsu, just because you know how obsessed I am with you and your jujitsu, I'm just like, I just love it so much. It's just awesome. Like, you're so badass. What comes after the black belt? Because I know how much of it, like, that was such a huge goal that you set for yourself. I can't remember if it was like you gave yourself 6 months to achieve it or something like that. But then, like, now what? Where do you go from here?
There's more. There's
How
first
many
Dan,
more?
there's second Dan, there's 10 Dans in the system.
Oh
But
my
I
God, that's how they
my
keep you in there.
yeah, it's a full cult. I'm in the cult. I'm signed up. But now, yeah, but I think then you have to wait sort of between 2 and 3 years, like for or more time has to pass between each level. But yeah, the system keeps going. There's so much more. And I almost feel that even getting to a black belt, it doesn't mean, I mean, it means you're an expert, but it doesn't necessarily, but I actually don't think that. I feel like it means that you understand a certain level and then you keep perfecting it because there's still, everyone is a black belt in their own way. Because with black belts, everyone has their own style within black belts. So somebody is really good at technique, someone is really good at something else. Like we're all different. And I think that's what's the most amazing thing. I realized that it actually helped me break my perfectionism with going for it because I didn't need to do everything perfectly. I just needed to be the standard and then to really enjoy and excel at the parts I really liked. And that's what everyone does. And that's what, yeah, you meet the standard, but then there's no perfection because that's something we still strive for in every class. And I swear I haven't stopped. So at that point I was training a lot, like 5, 6 days a week, multiple hours a day. Now I'm back to like a normal training schedule, only like 4 hours a week. But I still go, yeah, and I still help with the junior gradings, and I love it. I love it even more than now that I have it. And now I have my name on my belt, which is very exciting.
Oh, that's fancy. I like that. Um, that's a sure way to get us in accessories, personalized accessories. Thank
Exactly.
you.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Gold embroidered belt now.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay. That sounds awesome. Um, I think what you said there was just so pertinent to life is like, there's always another level, there's always another layer. And within that level or that layer, like we grow accustomed to whatever that standard is, that experience is, like we really sort of master that level. But we do it in our own style because like you said, and I know what you have said to us when we've been chatting, over cocktails about your black belt, is that, everybody has a different fighting style, and that's actually encouraged and that's fine. You don't have to be cookie cutter identical jujitsuers. You get to be Christina in the dojo doing her thing her way, and you still get the black belt because you met all the standards of whatever that level is. But you do it in your own style. You bring your own finesse to it, and I think that's really beautiful. It's such a great metaphor for life as well. Yeah, because it never
I love
stops. Like it never stops until the day we die. And like,
exactly. Yeah, when you get that goal, then what? Well, then there's another goal and you get can define it after that as well.
okay, that's really cool. I love that. Okay, I promise no more jujitsu questions for the
You can
moment.
ask anytime. I love it's my other favorite. Hair and jiu-jitsu now, my two favorite topics.
Oh, maybe this is going to be like a whole new presence for you. Is this is just going to be like hair and jujitsu? How can we combine the two? No, you know me, forever strategizing, coming up with new ideas. But okay, so like you've had this big, massive year. You've been through so much change and so much transition. you got a black belt in jujitsu. Okay, I mentioned it again, but
Yeah.
can't help it. It's a bloody great achievement.
Thank
Like
you.
I'm
Thank you.
so impressed. I will forever be impressed for the rest of my life. Um, what are you excited about?
Oh, I
Or what are you hopeful about?
oh, I'm hopeful just for having like a nice just making nice memories with my family. Oh my gosh, that's such a small, it feels like such a small thing to be hopeful about, but that's kind of my short-term goal. I know that mum isn't going anywhere for a while, but I really want to enjoy the time now while we're all together. And then I really want to set myself some more creative stretches. And then that's more my personal thing. One of my biggest values before this was always freedom. And so I didn't want anything to tie me down. And now I've accepted all these things to tie me down and keep me close to a specific place. And so now I'm focused, I guess, on beauty and and creation of beauty and appreciating it. I think I purposefully came when I find when we were talking when things were out of control, I started changing everything in my house as well, making it exactly how I wanted it to feel. And now that's done, I think it's time for me to actually put myself out there again. And I'm scared about it, but I am excited, very excited.
Oh, I love that so much. That's really lovely. And I think a lot of women who will be listening to this can relate to those feelings as well. Like I said, different circumstances, same feelings. So, my last question for you is the name of this series is obviously the Creatress tapes, and you know my history with Creatress, and I really do believe that within every single woman exists the energy, the spirit, the essence of a creatress, because we are all inherently created to create whatever that is in our lifetime. And so, if there is a woman listening right now who wants to tap into her inner creatress or really let her come out even just a little bit more, just a tiny little bit more, just for her, what would you most want her to know?
You've already got it inside you. There is so much more that you're capable of than you give yourself credit for. And you've probably been tested and demonstrated all those skills in another part of your life that you aren't just applying to this part of your life. And you already have it. That's all I can think actually, because we are so critical of ourselves in some areas of our life when we are over delivering in others, and it's the same skills, we're the same person. Just allow yourself to feel that freedom, that energy, and that space that you have in other areas of your life.
Oh, I love that so much because it's very much like the way we do anything is the way we do everything. And I think as women, we don't necessarily see that as truth for us because, we think we need to over deliver and over give in these areas of our lives. And then there are other areas of our lives that feel neglected. And so, what if we did give ourselves that permission to see that we can bring all of the same energy to everything we touch? And, we really can transform the areas of our lives that we maybe feel like we're not giving as much love and devotion and energy and focus to. And it's so wild because I feel like the universe always delivers me little messages right when I need them. And it's usually right before a podcast conversation lately. And one of the quotes that I came across, which came through in an email, was how you start your day is how you live your day. And it's a Louise Hay quote. And I've never heard that before, even though I love Louise Hay and all her teachings. And that just really stuck with me because it's just like, okay, well, yeah, what are you giving to yourself during your day? And it could be the tiniest of things or it could be the most big, incredible things, um, to really be tapping into who you want to be and how
Mm,
you want to be moving through the world. And I love that we have really gone there in this conversation. And I just want to thank you so much for your openness and your honesty and, yeah, just sharing everything with us that you've shared.
thank you. Thank you for creating these tapes. I can't wait to listen to the rest of them.